All right, welcome to Encountering God Stories. I'm super excited. I'm here with my friends Jana and Tommy. Just wave at us. Okay, there we go. And this is a real simple format. I'm just gathering unsuspecting people and asking them how they encountered God. So you might have heard a little shout out to Jana and Tammy today with 516 Project. So why don't you guys tell us just a little bit about yourselves?
I'm Tommy Roland. We've been in Panama City for about 3 years. We brought 516 Project down with us from Fredericksburg, Virginia. God called us down here, put it on our heart to do this kind of ministry, construction ministry specifically, and we just found out this was the place to do it.
And I'm Jana. I'm his wife, and all the same things apply. We knew we were moving.
So you don't have a different story as wives sometimes do?
No, we knew that we were moving somewhere. We knew we wanted to do the ministry work when we got there, and God just has a way of lining up where you go, and this was the community He gave us.
All right, that's fantastic. So here's the deal. One of you want to share just sometime recently where you feel like you encountered God?
So I would say overarching, as you've been talking about recently, through obedience. Obedience for us looks like construction ministry, service to the public, service to people, being the hands and feet of Jesus. This week, as a whole, we've encountered God, and when you're doing it right, you feel it and you know it. You feel the Holy Spirit in you, driving you. I would say specifically something we've talked about a couple times. Roy was we have somebody reached out for some help. They needed a fence. The story was beyond just somebody needing a fence. It was a family member that was sick, wanted to come live with this family member, but she was concerned that her dog wouldn't be safe while she was going through her treatments and things like that. So that's a big burden on somebody. You know, it's not a hole in the roof, but it's a large burden on somebody. And with us being all volunteers, it would be very low on our priority list to be able to do that. And I was in the middle of texting a contractor friend to see if they might be able to help us out. I looked up and I saw a local fence company, Robert's Fencing, and across his back window says, "My boss is a Jewish carpenter." Immediately, I knew I had a mark. I called him. As soon as he picked up the phone, I told him the situation, and he immediately volunteered. He said, "I would love to give back to repay for all that God has done to bless me." So second Saturday of February, we'll meet out here at Northstar.Church at 8 a.m. and we're going to go. And Robert is the pro. He's going to put that fence in. We'll send a couple volunteers with him. And those types of things. When you're being obedient, we're doing what God has called us here to do. We see those types of things just time and time again.
That's fantastic. So we are about to close things down. So if you're watching, go ahead in the comments or the live section. Why don't you go identify yourself? Let us know you're here. If you have a question for Tommy or Jana about 516, or maybe even how you could be involved this week, be sure and ask that, and we'll try to get to your questions. If we can't get to your questions, we will go back in the comments and we'll respond directly there within the next 24 or 48 hours. So as we have talked about, and Tommy you said this is a thing for you too, is that we most commonly encounter God through obedience. So you just heard, did you hear the message?
Yes, absolutely.
You sound pretty confident, like you actually listened, so
Yes.
That's great. So was there anything in particular that stood out to you in the message?
Something that I think over the last 5 years of doing this, some of the things that you talked about struggling with are things that men commonly struggle with. Those things are things that we deal with. Over the past 5 years, I was never a goal-oriented person, but I learned to be growth-oriented. And if I'm taking those small steps, you might not always change everything overnight. Not everything comes to you immediately. But if you're growth-oriented, you're paying attention to what you're doing and just trying to be a better person, trying to be more obedient, over time, you'll turn around. And a lot of those things you've put off and maybe even didn't realize you put them off. They're just no longer important to you because, you're listening to the Holy Spirit a lot more than you were 5 years earlier.
That's great. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us today. And like I said, if you had any questions, you can put them in the comments and we'll respond in the next day or two. And I want to encourage you to go ahead and think of a time or a way that you could obey something that you heard today, because we most encounter God through obedience. Hey, have a great week.